Every expert out there is telling you to test more ads, more creative, more complexity, more work. And I'm gonna show you in this video why that is the single biggest reason your ad account isn't scaling right now and what you should be doing instead. Here's what's actually happening. When you launch a new ad, that new ad starts with zero history and zero data. So Meta gives it the best possible audience to learn from. Your warmest, most engaged people, just to build up enough signal to even know what to do with it. And while all that's happening, your existing ads aren't served to that warm audience in the same way that they used to be, so their performance immediately looks worse. Now, here is what most people get wrong about this. They call it ad fatigue, but most of the time that's just not true. Every new ad that gets launched is tested at the bottom of the funnel, which can make any existing ad immediately look worse by comparison. I want you to remember that. And you can see this in your own ad account right now. Look at the frequency of any new ad in the first few days. A frequency of 1.6 means 60% of people saw that ad twice in a single day. A frequency of 1.2 means only 20% of people are. Meta is reaching the same warm people over and over while it figures out what to do with the ad, and the more ads you launch, the bigger this problem becomes. Then, as the learning period ends, spend goes up and frequency goes down, and that's not the ad dying, that's the ad just moving up in the funnel, reaching genuinely new people for the first time. And this brings us to one of the most common questions I hear from clients at my ad agency and members of Disruptor Academy. Why do my ads stop working after a few days? Now you know why. It's not that the ad stopped working, it's that they pulled the best audience away from everything else while they were learning, so they looked really good, and now they're just moving up the funnel. So what happens next? Operators see ads that appear to be dying and they turn them off. And then the ads that they're turning off are often the ones sitting higher in the funnel. The ones that were actually building the audience that made everything else work in the first place. So now you are disproportionately investing more and more money, lower and lower in the funnel, chasing performance that is less and less incremental. That's not a good thing. Which of course makes everything worse. Again. This is the doom cycle. And across over $1 billion in ad spend that I've managed, working with my own brands, my clients, and students, this is the single most common reason accounts stop scaling. Not the algorithm, not the economy, not the creative, this. You end up day trading your ad account, fighting to hold the line every single week, and the harder you work, the more complex your ad account gets, and the worse everything performs. Now I know what you're thinking.
What about creative diversity? Don't I need to keep testing?
Creative diversity is not about volume. What Meta needs is a higher confidence way to deliver a more consistent, better end user experience. The more complicated your ad account is, the harder that job becomes. So the less likely you are to reach the right people, and the more expensive every impression gets. And this is all happening while you're spending more and more at the bottom of the funnel, which shrinks the volume of opportunity even further. What Meta wants is the opposite of complexity. It needs a small number of distinct ads, each doing a specific job, so it can match the right message to the right person at the right time with confidence, not guesswork. And before I show you exactly what that system looks like, I need to show you one more thing about how Meta actually scores every ad in your account, because once you see it, everything clicks. Here is why this happens at the platform level. On Instagram and Facebook, every single post, paid or organic, is a web page on Meta's site competing for attention in the feed, and every piece of content has a score. Meta calls it the estimated action rate. It is based on how likely each person is to engage, click, and take actions that matter to you. The higher the score, the more people see your ad, and the less you pay. The lower your score, the more every impression costs. And that's really important because every new ad starts at zero, and that single fact is the entire reason the doom cycle exists. Meta isn't punishing you, it's not broken, it is doing exactly what it's designed to do, finding the fastest path to useful data. The problem isn't the platform, the problem is the structure you're giving it to work with. Every new ad launches at the bottom of the funnel because that's where the best data is. Bringing this back to creative diversity, Alex Schultz, Meta's CMO, has been very clear about this. When Zuckerberg talks about personalization, he's not talking about making a different ad for every single person. He's talking about the overall experience somebody gets across the feed, across every touch point, paid and organic, from every advertiser and creator. It's the sequence of messaging. Personalization is a delivery sequence problem, not a creative volume problem. The system doesn't need more ads, it needs better information. It needs to know which message works for which person and in what order. And the way you give it that information is by keeping things simple. A small number of distinct ads, each doing a specific job, so Andromeda can sequence the right message to the right person with confidence, instead of guessing across dozens of variables. And that is what the system I'm going to show you today is built to do, and it starts with just 5 ads. So if the problem the average marketer is creating is built around complexity and volume, the solution to that problem has to be the opposite. Simple, structured, every ad with a specific job. This is the Olympic rings method. 5 concepts, 5 jobs, all deliberately connected. Ring 1 is your first hello. It is an upper funnel ad reaching cold audiences with your first concept. One angle, one way in, one reason to care. This could be a UGC video, a founder video, or some bold claim. Whatever your strongest opening concept is, how do you get attention from a stranger? Ring 2 is your second hello. Same job, reaching cold audiences, but a completely different concept, a different format, a different angle, a different reason to care. The people who did not respond to Ring 1 might respond to Ring 2. And Ring 3 is your third hello. A third distinct concept for the people who have not responded to either of the first 2. Maybe it's a testimonial, maybe it's a demonstration. The point is that all 3 prospecting rings are doing the same job, starting the conversation, but doing it in 3 completely different ways. Ring 1, 2, and 3 are the hello. Ring 4 is the first close. It is a lower funnel ad. A logical second touch for the people who saw rings 1 and 2. The conversation has already started. Ring 4 picks it up and moves them towards a decision. Static images tend to work really well here. You might build it around a direct offer, or handling some objections, or introducing urgency. And Ring 5 is the second close. Same job as Ring 4, but designed as a second touch for the people who saw rings 2 and 3. A different warm audience, but the ad has the same objective. Close the conversation. Those rings started. Rings 4 and 5 close the deal. To review, rings 1, 2, and 3 are the hello. Rings 4 and 5 are the close. Now here's what makes this different from just running 5 random ads. Every ring has a job. Every job is distinct, and none of these rings are competing with each other for the same audience because they are designed to reach a different person at a different point in the journey and in the sequence of messaging. This is what real creative diversity looks like. Not more ads, not more complexity. 5 concepts, each doing a specific job, working together as a team. If you look at it, it's basically just 2 funnels. Now think of it this way. Messi is one of the greatest footballers of all time, but he does not win matches alone. The way you win is by building a team of complementary players, each one designed for a specific role, all pushing towards the same goal. Meta works in the exact same way. It does not reward the best individual ad, it rewards the best system. Facebook ads are a team sport. And right now, most accounts are not running a system. They're running a collection of individual ads, all competing to be the last touch on any sale that happens. That is not a team. That is not sustainable. That creates more problems than it solves. 5 ads, 5 jobs. That is the foundation. But now the question becomes, how do you actually build the ads that go in each ring? How do you test them without creating the doom cycle all over again? And that is where the 322 ad comes in. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build one right now inside of Ads Manager. So this is where everything gets practical. I'm inside Ads Manager right now, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build a 322 flexible ad, the tool that lives inside of every ring of the Olympic rings system. At the ad level, instead of choosing a standard ad format, you're going to choose flexible ad. This is the format that replaced dynamic creatives, and it's where the entire 322 system lives. 3 creatives, 2 headlines, 2 primary texts. 3, 2, 2. First, the 3 creatives. These should be 3 videos or 3 images, not a mix of both, and all of the same format and all of the same aspect ratio. We are asking Meta to compare like for like. If you mix formats inside of one flexible ad, you are asking the system to answer 2 different questions at the same time, and that slows everything down. Next, 2 primary texts. And these should be meaningfully different. Different angles, different hooks, different reasons to care. Not 2 versions of the same idea with slightly different wording, 2 distinct ways of opening the conversation. Then, 2 headlines. Meaningfully different again, 2 distinct ways of framing the value, not rewritten versions of the same line. 3 creatives, 2 primary texts, 2 headlines. What you've just built is 12 possible combinations inside one ad. One shared learning pool, one data bucket. And spend is meritocracy. The system will put more budget behind the combinations that create the best experience based on the data it collects. No micromanagement. You give it the inputs and it finds the best path. Now here's something that trips a lot of people up. How do you read performance inside of a flexible ad? Because you are running 12 combinations, that's essentially 12 ads, not one, so which one is winning? There are 3 things you need to understand. First, you will never see the performance of each individual permutation. Each creative is effectively 4 ads because it runs against 2 headlines and 2 primary texts. Each headline or primary text is effectively 6 ads. There's no itemized breakdown, and that's by design. It's not a bug, it's not a limitation, it's a feature. Second, the 322 is the ad. You're not looking for the winning permutation inside it. The flexible ad as a whole is either performing well enough to scale or it isn't. That's the only question that matters. And third, unicorns make themselves known. If one specific permutation inside of a 322 is dramatically outperforming everything else, you will know. Not from a dashboard, but from your inbox, from your comments. Disproportionate engagement, overwhelming reactions. You will not be able to miss it. That is the harvest signal, and we will cover exactly what to do with it when we get to the full architecture in a little bit. Now here is the number that puts all of this into perspective. 5 total 322 ads gives you the creative equivalent of 60 different ads, but consolidated into just 5 data buckets instead of 60. Exponentially better informed, exponentially less chaotic. Because every signal is shared, every impression is informing the same pool of data, and the system is making smarter decisions faster with every single impression. And if you want the complete implementation guide for building the system inside your own account, the exact setup, the exact campaign structure, the exact process, the creative strategy, everything, that is what the premium tier of Disruptor Academy is built for. Courses, live calls, and everything you're gonna need to know when you hit the problems you don't even know are coming yet. And the link is right down below. But right now, let me show you what this actually looks like inside of a real account. Campaign level, ad set level, ad level. The full architecture for the very first time. So let me show you what this actually looks like inside of a real account. Not a concept, not a framework, the actual structure, campaign level, ad set level, and ad level. So you can build this right away. This is Andromeda 1. 1 campaign, 3 ad sets, and a process that gets stronger every single week it runs. At the campaign level, it is always a CBO, a campaign budget optimization campaign. 1 campaign. And if you've heard of ABO, ad set budget optimization, here's the simplest way to think about it. ABO is just a folder of 1 ad set CBO campaigns. More complexity for no additional benefit. We don't use it. We don't want to work harder. We don't want things to be more complex. We just want to make more money. Now, inside of that 1 campaign, that CBO, Andromeda 1, you have 3 ad sets. The first is your control ad set. This is your stable environment, your proven performers, and we're just getting started building the Andromeda 1 system. You could use your existing top 6 to 8 currently running ads, whatever's working right now, but over time, as the system matures, this will evolve into a collection of unicorn post IDs pulled from your best flexible ads. 4 to 6 proven winners covering all 5 Olympic rings, all sitting together in one place. Think of it as your all-star team. Every ad in this ad set has already earned its place. Nothing gets in here without proving it belongs. The second ad set is Test Ad Set 1. This is your first proving ground, 1322 ad. Its job is simple. Find something better than was already in the control. The third ad set is Test Ad Set 2. Same job as Test Ad Set 1, 1322 ad, just a second proving ground running in parallel so you can A/B test. 2 clean places for data to go, each with its own learning path, each with its own shot at potentially producing the same unicorn, but this way it's not, does this ad work? It's which one works better. So at the ad level, here's what the full account actually looks like. Your control ad set has up to 6 proven post IDs covering all 5 Olympic rings. Test ad set 1 has one 322 flex ad, that's 12 combinations, and test ad set 2 has another 322 ad in it, that's another 12 combinations. That's one campaign, 3 ad sets, and a maximum of 24 active combinations across 2 ad sets that are testing against your proven control. That's simple, it's purposeful, it's the scientific method, and it's damn near idiot-proof. Now, one note, if your account cannot get multiple ad sets out of the learning phase, collapse everything into one ad set, with 4 to 8 ads total. The principle is exactly the same, you're just running it inside of one container instead of 3. Cover all 5 Olympic rings, creative test to improve upon the weakest link so that you can always say yes to the most important question, which is, can I spend more money tomorrow? This is the 3-step simple process for how this system actually operates over time. Step 1 is your testing. Your 2 test ads are running. Learning is shared inside each 322. Your signals are getting clearer and clearer every day. You're not touching anything. You're not launching new ads. You're letting the system do the job so your results get more stable and better every single day. Step 2 is harvest. And this is optional. Most of the time, you won't need it, but occasionally, every 3 or 4 months, if you're doing things right, something extraordinary happens inside of one of your 322 ads. Spend starts consolidating around one very specific permutation, and then you see it inside of your inbox and your comments. One ad is getting a disproportionate volume of engagement, overwhelming reactions. It has become the alpha predator. When you see that, spend concentrating on one specific permutation plus disproportionate engagement, that's your great white shark in the backyard pool. When that happens, here's exactly what you do. You go to your inbox, you find that ad, you click the timestamp, and you copy the post ID from the URL. Then, go back into Ads Manager and paste it into a new ad inside your control ad set. Done. 2 things to remember once you have done that. First, don't turn off the 322. Pulling a post ID and turning off a 322 ad are 2 completely different decisions. The 322 ad is performing well. That's why you're harvesting from it. You do not turn off something that's working. And second, don't expect the post ID to perform identically to the full 322. Inside the 322 ad, it was one of 12, with the benefit of diversity and shared data. As a standalone post ID in the control ad set, it is just one player joining an all-star team. It will contribute differently, and that is normal and expected. Now, the part most people get wrong: when do you actually increase the budget, and by how much? This is step 3, scale. Scaling does not depend on harvesting. If your 322 ads alone are performing well enough, you scale. You don't need to wait for a unicorn. If the answer to one simple question is yes, can I spend more money and be profitable, you just increase the budget. So here's how to know when to scale. And it's actually really simple. Your campaign is performing better than your target. If your target CPA is $50 and you're coming in at a 45 over the last 7 days, you're 10% better than your target. In that case, scale by 5% or less. Because even if that extra spend produces 0 additional conversions, you're still below target. You get the upside of all those additional impressions without risking the efficiency that's already working. Your budget changes happen at the campaign level, not the ad set level. This is not ABO. And when you raise the budget by less than your average cost per result, your cost per result will appear to go up temporarily. That's not a problem, it's math. You didn't add enough budget to generate a new conversion, so the average looks worse. Give it time. It's working exactly as it should. You do this a few times, you're just gonna get a lot more sales, and that efficiency will come right back. This is the account most people never build, not because it's complicated. It's actually the simplest account structure I've ever seen produce consistent scalable results, but because nobody ever showed them the whole thing in one place. Now, you've seen it. One campaign, 3 ad sets, a system that evolves, and a scaling rule that removes the guesswork, and a harvesting process that's a bonus, not a requirement. Every account hits a point where performance drops and the instinct is to do something. Launch new ads, change the budget, rebuild everything, and almost all of those instincts make things worse, because they reintroduce the complexity that created the doom cycle in the first place. Here's the only process you need. It's as simple as 2 questions. Question number 1, can I spend more money and stay profitable right now? If the answer is yes, do not touch anything else. This is the most important rule in the whole system. The single worst thing you could do when the answer is yes is launch new ads, change the structure, or start testing something new. If it's working, let it work. Scale the budget and leave everything else alone. If no, move on to question 2. Question 2, which ring is getting the most spend with the worst performance? You are looking for one of two things. Either an ad inside your prospecting rings, that's ring 1, 2, or 3, that is consuming a disproportionate share of spend while delivering the worst results, or an ad set that is receiving the most spend across all 5 rings but performing the worst relative to your target. That is your weakest link. That is the thing you improve first. And here's how you improve it. You don't rebuild the whole account. You don't launch 10 new ideas. You take that one underperforming ring and you build new 322 ads specifically designed to do that ring's job better. And you run it in your test ad sets. That's it. It's one test on one ring. This is the scientific method applied to your ad account. You already know what each ring is supposed to do. You already know what a good result looks like. So when one ring isn't doing its job, the question is never, what should I try? The question is, what specifically is this ring failing to do, and what is one change that might fix it? Perhaps it's a new hook, or a different proof point, or a stronger offer in the close. One change, one test. Then you watch what happens to spend. If the new 322 earns spend away from the underperformer, it is doing the job better. If it doesn't, you try the next variable. The hardest part of this system isn't building it. The hardest part is not touching it. Most people kill these tests before the system has a chance to work. And that is really the only mistake you can make. Everything in this video, the doom cycle, the Olympic rings, the 322, the architecture, the diagnostic, it all comes back to one simple question. Can I spend more money tomorrow? If the answer is yes, you scale. If the answer is no, you use this process until it's a yes. Now, there is one level deeper than this diagnostic, a full analytical framework called 4PI analysis that I have dedicated videos on and that we go deep on inside Disruptor Academy. But for the vast majority of accounts, the 2 questions you just saw will get you to a yes far more often than anything else you can do. You now have the complete system. The doom cycle explained, the Olympic rings built, 322 inside every ring, the full Andromeda 1 architecture, and the diagnostic process to keep it running. Nobody has shown all of this inside of a single video before, and the reason I built it this way is simple. Simple scales, complex fails. The more you simplify your account, the better Meta can do its job. And the better Meta can do its job, the more money you make. And that's what we're all trying to do here, isn't it? Can I spend more money tomorrow? That is the only question that matters. Not your ROAS, not your CTR, not your hook rate, not how many ads you launched this week, just that one question. If the answer is yes, you are winning. If the answer is no, you now have a system that tells you exactly what to fix and exactly how to fix it. Most advertisers will never build this, not because it's hard, but because nobody showed them the whole thing in one place. The doom cycle traps them. The complexity convinces them that the answer is more ads, more testing, more work, and the harder they work, the worse it gets. You have seen a different way. 5 rings, 1 tool, 1 campaign, a system that gets stronger every week it runs without the guesswork, without the constant scramble to find the next winner. Now, here's the honest truth. Watching this video is the easy part. Building it inside of your account, mapping your creative to the right rings, setting up the architecture correctly, and knowing what to do the first time performance drops, that is where most people get stuck. And that is exactly what the premium tier of Disruptor Academy is built for. Every course, every live call, every resource you're going to need when you hit the problems you don't even know are coming yet. The people inside the premium tier are building this system right now with support and feedback from me and with a community of operators who are all doing the same thing at every budget level. The link is in the description. And if you're serious about building this, that's probably where you want to go next. And if the answer to that one question is already a yes, the can I spend more money tomorrow? Just keep going. And if you want the step-by-step guide to the 3 methods I use to scale ad accounts to 1,000 a day or 10,000 a day or even $1 million a week, check this next video out.